This is BBC Radio Suffolk, 25 minutes to 5. My next guests on the programme, all three members of this group, Blake. The vocal group Blake with 1492 Conquest of Paradise, written by Vangelis. Well, these days the group are a trio and will be performing at the Marina Theatre in Lowestoft at the end of November. I've been chatting to all three of them, Humphrey, Stephen and Ollie, and Humphrey is returning to a part of the world he knows very well.
It's always lovely for me because I'm actually a Norfolk boy, so it doesn't feel like I'm too far from home. We're bringing, as you say, our Christmas show back, which we really enjoyed touring last year. So to be back on the road with that show, singing a whole mix of classics and upbeat stuff as well, is always good fun. A lot of us in the group started off as choristers, and so we can use that to do some really beautiful sort of classic Christmas a cappella carols, and then mix it up, even going through to the Dame Shirley Bassey duet that we did last year on the TV. So it's going to be a fun show.
So Humphrey, as a Norfolk lad, did you get to Lowestoft a lot in your younger days?
Not a lot, but once in a while. We'd go off on little day trips and get down to the coast and feed me up on fish and chips, which would normally shut me up. So that seemed to do the job. And it's a wonderful bit of the world, Norfolk and Suffolk, and somewhere I'm very fond of. So it's lovely to have an excuse to come back.
And Stephen and Ollie, do you both know this part of the world reasonably well?
We've been touring now for about a decade as a group together. So there isn't much of the UK we haven't visited. We've gone over it inch by inch and sung in every county and every town.
We should have stood for Parliament, really. We should have done. Travelling, we've done. Never mind, anyway.
But yeah, so we know it very well. It's a beautiful place to visit, and so we're looking forward to coming.
And what about audiences in different parts of the country? I mean, do they differ in the sort of reaction you get? Can you tell you're in Suffolk, for example?
Well, we're still alive, so they don't get quite into extremists, but yeah, they certainly do.
I don't know so much. I mean, there's very much a north-south divide. We definitely noticed that. If we go and do a gig down in Winchester and then the next day we're up in Newcastle, then you definitely see and feel a bit of a difference. They're a little bit more raucous up north. It must be the iron brew that they drink. It's all that sugar, but it's fun. Yeah, it's good fun, absolutely. But no, we're very lucky. We seem to get very warm vocal audiences anywhere that we go in the country, and I think because of the style of music that we sing, even in the Christmas show, there's a sort of emotional element and content to it with the harmony that we create with our voices, and it seems to engage an audience well, and we get a good reaction.
This time last year you were gearing up for Christmas 2015 and a very special Christmas single with Dame Shirley Bassey.
Yeah. Correct. Yes, we were. A very exciting time. Started in sort of midsummer. We had to record all these amazing snowy Christmas hits like Frosty the Snowman, when it was, I kid you not, 34 degrees on that very hot day. Do you remember June before last?
During Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Frosty was melting.
It was hot. And we were there sort of trying to get into a Christmas mood with woolly jumpers and thinking, no, this isn't working. Turn up the air conditioning. But it was great. And then Dame Shirley thankfully came on board in about September, I think. Yeah. It took us sort of a couple of months to get the ball rolling on that, and then it was very, very fast. She came over for a couple of days in November, and we recorded the song. We arranged the song in the afternoon around my piano in Battersea, and then recorded her that evening, and then I stayed up through the night mixing it, and then we got the orchestra in the next morning. Recorded them, and then that afternoon made a music video, and then she went back to Monte Carlo. So it was pretty fast, and then thankfully it got picked up by the lovely Beeb, and then we were on Strictly Come Dancing Christmas special and Graham Norton show and lots of other things. So it was a wonderful time of year, and we hope we do something similar this year.
I mean, what a thrill for Dame Shirley Bassey to work with Blake.
Well, she seemed to enjoy it. It was the first time she's worked with a group, obviously, throughout her amazing career. She's done duets, but it was the first time she'd worked with a vocal group like us. And I think she really enjoyed that sort of camaraderie and the sensation of singing with three other voices. And as everyone knows, Dame Shirley Bassey has got quite a voice on her. So when all four voices came together, it was a really powerful experience, and it was great to see. She was really elated by it, and it means that she wants to do other things in the future. So that's really exciting for us.
Well, of course, she'd be more than welcome to join you on stage at the Marina Theatre in Lowestoft, wouldn't she?
We've tried.
Well, thing is, we do have her on stage with us in a very special way. Now, if you think that Shirley Bassey's an intimidating woman, think how intimidating she is when she's 10 foot high on a screen behind you. It's something else. But we do actually recreate that duet during the show with Dame Shirley behind us on the screen. It's really, really good fun. And amongst other things in the show, I mean, one of the things we love doing with our audience is surprising them with a lot of snow as well. So it actually snows during the show, which is fantastic fun. There's a lot of hoovering required afterwards, not by us, I might add, but it does come out. It just looks a little bit like everybody's got terrible dandruff for a couple of hours.
I bet the cleaners at these venues love you, don't they?
We're not. We leave pretty quickly.
We do have to ask first. It's a fair point that we don't go around the country annoying theatres. We try to keep them on our side. But most of them are sporting enough to say, yeah, of course we're going to do that, because it makes the show better as well.
You do a lot of work for some very, very good causes, don't you?
We do. We try. I mean, when you're in our privileged position of having an element of profile, it would be wrong not to try and use that for better and for the good. And we all have causes which are very dear to us. And Ollie comes from a family, a lot of whom have been in the armed forces, so we do armed forces work. And I tragically lost my sister in 2005 to suicide after mental health. And so I try and do some stuff with Mind and other mental health charities. And Stephen has his own charities as well. Rescue the Kitten is one that he works with a lot.
That and Variety, the children's charity.
Yeah, we do a lot with Variety. They're a wonderful, wonderful charity, and so it's something that's very important to us. And when we have time, we support those individual charities.
Well, at the time of our conversation, Christmas is still a long way off, although it'll soon come round. All the Christmas cards are in the shops now, and various other things are being sold, as you might expect. So, would you mind doing a little Christmas titty for us to sort of set up your appearance at the Marina Theatre in Lowestoft?
Oh,
we'll see what we can muster.
I wonder what we can do.
A little bit of Silent Night.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon Virgin Mother and Child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace.
Christmas comes very early on BBC Radio Suffolk. The wonderful sound of Blake with Silent Night. That'll get you in the mood, chaps. It's certainly got me in the mood.
Well, I better learn that one, because I've just my daughter was born 2 weeks ago, and that's made me feel quite sleepy, so I might have to use that for her.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, a new chapter, so it's going to be a very exciting Christmas for the family at home.
And what's your daughter's name?
She's called Ottilie Rose, Rose after my sister, who I mentioned sadly is no longer with us. And so it's it'll be an extra special Christmas, our first as a family with a newborn.
Get used to receiving 200 presents from everybody made of all sorts of wonderful plastic.
Lots of pink plastic's going to be in the house, and it'll be very special. It's a nice way to finish off our Christmas tour.
Excellent. So you're putting the show together pretty much over the next couple of weeks or so?
Yes. Yeah, well, I mean, as we said, we toured it last year, and there's lots of parts of the show which we're keeping from last year because it was our first one we'd done, and it worked really well. So yeah, we start to rehearse now and get all the music back into our singing bones, and then we shall come and serenade you in Lowestoft on the 29th of November.
And dare I ask what you've got lined up for 2017, if we can look that far ahead?
Oh, goodness.
Well, it's a big year for us because we turned 10 as a group, which is an incredible thing. So we're amazed we've lasted that long. So with that, we're going to do a very big album for everybody, which is a big classical and crossover album, very similar to our early ones. And then we go touring again, but we actually go touring overseas as well. So we're going over to China in June and July to tour out there, starting in Taipei in Taiwan. So yeah, lots of very fun stuff to look forward to.
Obviously, you're together on stage and in the studio and doing media work like you're doing right now, but do you see a lot of each other when you're not together as Blake?
Yeah, a fair bit. I mean, we don't hang out every night because we work together every night.
We had nothing to talk about if we hung out together.
But we really do sort of live, work and breathe together in terms of travelling around in a small car and being on stage every night. So we'd have to be close. And after 10 years, it is that wonderful thing of knowing how not to press each other's buttons and how to get along. And it becomes very much like a family where actually, I'd never say arguments don't happen, but they're very rare now. But the lovely thing is that we know, how to deal with each other and we can say what we feel. And also that wonderful thing of being able to be silent when you need to be, not having to talk all the time. And it's a friendly and lovely atmosphere that we've cultivated together over 10 years, I would say.
And to be honest, the argumentative ones have left. We're left with the ones who get on fine.
But I bet you still surprise each other from time to time when things happen.
Yeah, well, people go in moods, don't they? I mean, that's lovely and natural. It'd be very boring if it was very sterile.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much indeed, guys, for joining us on the programme. Enjoy your visit to the Marina Theatre at Lowestoft here in Suffolk in November. You're there right at the end of November on the 29th, I see. Have a great gig.
Thank you
very
much.
Thanks.